Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, it has been a minute, a long time since I've gone live. I know it's been a couple of months. Because not with my phone going off as soon as I get on the live, like I really have just been focused on child, I can't even multitask anymore. I'm so rusty on these live streams. I really have been focused on my podcast and just making sure that like I'm getting that off the ground. So, if you have been living under a rock and you haven't been on my channel, which is the problem, then I did launch a podcast called For My Sisters with Dell podcast. I launched it in February, and right now I'm posting every other Wednesday, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of need to up the ante, but at the same time, I'm giving myself grace because all of this stuff takes time. Like having to be everywhere doing everything takes a lot of time. So, that's mainly what I've been focused on, and I haven't been going live, but I need to go live more because I do miss like talking with you guys live and just like communicating with you and getting that time with you. And plus, I just feel like my live streams get way more activity, like they're more live, no pun intended. They're more lively versus the videos, because the videos you're just watching it by yourself. Like the lives you get to really talk to people once they come in and stuff like that. But first and foremost, I need you to be checking the description box. There are so many great things in the description box, y'all. I need you to be looking at the description box. First and foremost, if you're not a part of my newsletter, I need you to join my newsletter. I'm about to start sharing a lot more like business gems in there, more opportunities in there for you to get assistance in different areas of your life. I've started offering sponsorships. So if you're a business owner or a ministry or organizational leader and you want to increase your visibility and your reach, you can be a sponsor with the official Rondelle Martin brands. And I say brands because I have my official Rondelle Martin brand. I have Royalty and Righteousness, which is my clothing line, Single Saved in the City, the singles community I have for Christian single women. I have my podcast. So you're going to be placed in all of these different areas where you can gain visibility. And when you gain visibility, you increase your chances of gaining clientele and support. It's all about getting in front of people, and positioning yourself so more people know what you have to offer and how you can help them. So just to give you some numbers, I have between all of my stuff, over 6,000 women globally in my community. I get on average about 30K monthly impressions. And impressions just means 30K people, like seeing your brand, coming into contact with what you have to offer, whether it's through your content, whether it's through your email list, going to your website, whatever. So, it gives you a lot of opportunity to be seen. And then as a sponsor, I'm like helping you promote specific stuff. So for instance, one of my sponsors has a workshop coming up. I'm going to be helping to push that, like getting that out in front of people as she's promoting it, just letting people know like, hey, this is here for you. This is how it can benefit you. So there are opportunities for you to engage in events, as a sponsor and get preference in that. 9 times out of 10, when people engage in my events, I pay them, I compensate them in some way. So, there's opportunities for you to be preferred as an expert in a certain area and stuff when you are a sponsor. So if you want to, apply for sponsorship, just go to bit.ly/RM sponsorship app. Let me put that in the comments. Bit.ly/RM sponsorship app. And you will be able to apply for sponsorship, with my brands and all of that good stuff. Also, join the newsletter. Like I said, like if you're not, that's all in the description box down below. Join the newsletter so you can get those gems, just revelation that God gives me, and just keep up with me in a more intimate way. My mailing list gets preference when certain things come out, they know first. Sometimes they get discount codes, so they're able to hop on things before anybody else. They're able to do things before anybody else and get those benefits. So yeah, definitely join the newsletter. And also, if you're a Christian single woman, like we outside, sis, we doing stuff. This month, we're meeting up at the Atlanta R&B Festival. So yeah, if you're in the Atlanta area or you're going to be in the Atlanta area on Memorial Day weekend, then definitely tap in, sis. Bring a friend or two, meet up with us, go to the Eventbrite. I don't have the link on me right now, but I'll put it in the comments after this live stream, and just RSVP for that. I'm not hosting the festival. Another company is hosting it, the Soco Wine Company, but I'm hosting organizing a meetup. Like we're meeting up as a group and we're gonna go to the festival together and just have a good time. And the festival is so much fun. They have live music, like a live R&B band. They have all types of vendors out there. Every time I go to the festival, I get like these really pretty African print skirts and summer dresses and like jumpsuits and stuff that are one of a kind. They have local food vendors out sometimes. I know last year they had a local bakery that was selling like fresh baked goods and stuff. They have food that they sell there, non-alcoholic drinks too. So even if you're like, well, I don't drink wine or anything like that, like you don't have to drink the wine. But if you are a wine lover, the Soca wine is so good. Like it is delicious. It is a family owned, Black owned business based out of Maryland, Trinidadian descent. So very, very delicious wines. And they sell it there, and they kind of, you have access to wine education, and it's just a good time. So I would highly suggest that you come. You won't regret it. The tickets are inexpensive. Like get in the room, sis, or in this case, get outside and join us, like join us outside. So needless to say, I haven't been live like that, like I said, because I've just been focused on the podcast. For those that don't know, I do homeschool my son and things like that. So I'm just like all over the place. But now that the school year is ending, and now that I kind of got the rhythm of the podcast and stuff, I do want to start going live more. I can't say I'm gonna be live every week like I used to do, or be live multiple times a week. That would be the goal, and if I'm able to do it, then I definitely will. But I would definitely strive to go live twice a month, and I definitely want to do my live prayer and praise again. And I usually did that at the beginning of the month. So I want to do those again. And then I'll try to fit in somewhere where I do something else. So this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. You guys know I'm very passionate about that. Last year, I had some very powerful interviews. Definitely check them out on my channel. I'll share them on the community tab again. But, I did an interview about being a Christian and struggling with anxiety, and myself, Yasmin William Woods, and Shay from Obedient Shay. Or the Obedience podcast, she and Yasmin and I did a panel discussion on how we navigate anxiety as Christian women. And then I had Priscilla Henley on my channel. She talked about being Christian and struggling with depression and bipolar disorder, I believe. And that was very powerful, very insightful. It was a lot of stuff that I learned that I didn't know, that really just helped me to have a better understanding of what bipolar disorder is, what it looks like, how you can support people with it. And it was helpful because after that, I ended up meeting other people in real life who also, have bipolar disorder. And so I was able to go into those interactions with a little bit more knowledge and even more empathy. So that was great. And I feel like I talked about something else too, or was it just those two? I can't remember. Let me scroll back real quick because I know I had Priscilla. I know it was me, Yasmin, and Shay. I can't remember if I had other interviews or not, but let's check and see. Really quick. But either way, it was impactful. And I like to talk about mental health because, one thing that Priscilla definitely highlighted was the fact that she's a Christian and she's going to deal with bipolar disorder the rest of her life. Like this is something that she's just going to have to deal with. And that's not something that we like to hear or that we like to accept sometimes. And so, she really just gave us some pointers on how. I did have Rosalind Renee. She talked about the importance of, your mental health and your faith walk and all of that. So those are the interviews I had last year, and they were very impactful. Like I said, you can check them out on my channel under the live stream tab or under the live tab, but I will definitely share the one in particular with Priscilla Henley on my community tab because that was very, very good. Like that, she shared so much insight. So I will definitely share that. But I just think it's important that we have these discussions as Christians because sometimes there is a shame attached to struggling with mental health issues and being a Christian. It's almost like, well, if you had the faith, you wouldn't have these problems. And it's like, it doesn't always work like that, but overall God is sovereign, and I don't like to just completely dismiss something like, oh, we'll just pray a little harder, have more faith, because that's not how it always works. But I also don't want to discredit the faith part of it because we know that God can do anything. So, very great discussions. I want to encourage you this month with it being Mental Health Awareness Month to really just like, educate yourself, see how you can support people in your life who might be struggling with some form of mental health. and just overall just be the light and be the love of Christ. Also, we know this month is Mother's Day, so I hope that all my mothers out there are doing something special. Even if that means just relaxing. I know for me, we're gonna go out to eat. I do want to take my mom to get massages. Me and her, we always kind of have like our own mother thing. Because those that don't know, I am a single mom. So we try to do something like just the two of us as moms, and typically that involves something with spa and food. Two things that I two things that I love: the spa and food. So I don't know if I'm gonna get to do it in time though for Mother's Day this year, because everything's like creeping up on me. Like everything's happening so fast. But that's a good thing. I'm gonna get to that in a little bit, because this season of my life is giving, y'all. Like I'm gonna share more of that. Because I'm sure that's why you clicked. But I'm definitely going to try to fit in a spa trip sometime this month, though. Like, even if we can't go next week, definitely not Mother's Day weekend, because who child, it'd just be too much. Like yesterday for Cinco de Mayo, when I was working Uber Eats, I was like, yo, like this is this is taking a long time. Like the restaurants were jam packed, and I mean, like some of them were worse than others, surprisingly, because usually most years like everyone is bad, but this year I would say there were some that weren't so bad, but it was just like, oh my goodness, like it's taking way longer than I wanted it to take. So I know Mother's Day is gonna be crazy, but I'm definitely gonna do something. We're gonna go out to eat, and then just probably relax or whatever the case may be. Like just take that day to just like watch TV, chill in the house, maybe go and we'll probably just go out to eat. Probably just go out to eat, because I was gonna say, oh, maybe we could do that. No, we'll just go out to eat, because I know I'm gonna be tired after that. Having to get to the place and then come back and yeah. So we just gonna go out to eat and call it a day, and then I'll find a way for my mom and I to get to the spa and do what we got to do. And all that good stuff at some point this month. So, nevertheless, what is it? This season of my life is giving, y'all. Like I said, it's giving. That's so part of the reason too why I haven't been as active on my live streams is because I've really been building up Single and Saved in the City. God has been moving. Okay, God has been moving in that community. Like there are so many amazing things happening. There's so much revelation God has given me, because I decided to fast for this first week in May, and I'm still low key fasting. Like I'm back. I'm gonna be more on social media now for the rest of the month, but still not as much, because one thing this fast really reveals to me is how much I don't like miss social media when I'm not on it. Like, I have to be on it in a way, for business purposes, making sure I'm like posting pictures of events and letting people know like, hey, we got this going on, we got that going on. But if I could find a way to do that without having to be on social media, trust me, I would, because I just don't miss it. Like when I'm not on it, at first, like the first day or two, it's a little awkward, because a lot of the time our first response when we wake up is to roll over and like instantly check your Instagram, your Facebook. Like I know in some seasons of my life I even have to fight to get in my word first. Like it's so ingrained in us. Like you're like, oh, let me check. Now I'm like, wait, no, we're gonna pray first, we're gonna do but once I get past like that first day, maybe two, I'm like, oh, I'm not even missing it. Like I'm not, because when I fast from social media, I don't stay logged into the apps on my phone. Like I log out. So if I want to go into it, I have to log back in. So that creates a barrier for me that makes me say, I don't even feel like logging in. It's just too much. So I just don't miss it. And I didn't do it where I wasn't on social at all, because like I said, I do have certain things on there where I'm like, okay, let me at least pop in here real briefly, make sure no one sent me a DM or anything important like that, and that I'm good to go. But I wasn't on there for more than 15 minutes. Like I was literally popping in, checking my DMs, scroll real quick to see if I missed any comments, and that's it. And I was out of there, and I would do that with all of my pages, because I have 3 Instagram pages for my different brands. And I might post something in the stories, and that's it. Like I'm gone, So I was on it enough to make sure I don't miss anything important. But yeah, like I don't miss it. So I've been building Single and Saved in the City. I have been really just building it out. And let me give you a little background on that too, because I always kind of mention it in the beginning of my videos and stuff, but I never really break it down. Like I haven't done a video on what Single and Saved in the City is. And I might do another live stream just breaking it down in full detail. But Single and Saved in the City is my community group for Christian single women. And we stand on 3 main pillars: sisterhood, and we strive to do 3 main things, which is create sisterhood, host experiences and events, and help single women in their self-development journey. These are the 3 things we do. So you'll always see like where there's opportunities for us to connect and build sisterhood, come together. You'll always see things like me encouraging you to post what you got going on. What are the events you got going on? Did you start an online store and you need some support? Did you start a podcast? You need some streams? Like, post your link, share with us so we can go and we could follow, we could like, we could share, we could just support. Like, it costs nothing to support. And I wish that people would like really get that. I mean, my tribe gets that and the people I run with get that. But a lot of people at large don't understand how important like a like is, or how important a comment is, or a share. Like, for us creators, it means the world. Like, and I know as a consumer, you're just kind of sitting there scrolling mindlessly sometimes, or you're just decompressing from the day and you're not thinking, oh, let me share this. Like, you might actually really enjoy the content, but you're not thinking, let me share this, let me repost it. But I just want to reiterate that again. Like, it means so much to us to share, repost, like, comments. Like, those are the 4 things. Share, save, like, and comment. Like, do any of those things or all those things, and it helps us. It's free for you to do. It takes like 2 seconds, but it really helps us get out there. Like, word of mouth and sharing and all that is super important for us as creators. And so I always encourage that. Share what you're doing. Let us know. How can we support? Because if you don't share, how are we going to know? And you might feel like, okay, I'm sharing and I'm not getting a reaction. Or even like I said, even with the sponsorship, increasing your visibility, you might be like, okay, I'm a sponsor and I'm not getting the reaction that I wanted. But you have to understand that it's about getting out there so that people know. Once you plant that seed, it's going to take root and it's going to sprout up. Because once people know, now it's going to be ingrained in their mind. Like, wait, this person has this or that. I need that. Let me contact this person. Or wait, this person's talented in this and that. This is their skill set. This is their expertise. Let me contact them for this. Like, it's about getting yourself out there and partnering up with people. And so that's why I always encourage the women in the group, share what you got going on, share your links, drop your websites, like drop whatever it is that we can help. I always host events and experiences. So even if I'm not the organizer of the event, like how this month we're going to the ATL R&B Festival, I'm not organizing the R&B Festival. It's not my festival, but I'm linking up with other Christian women. I'm creating the meetup experience around it, where it's like, okay, I want to go to this festival. I'm sure you probably want to go to the festival. So instead of us going separately, let's go together. Let's have let's have a good time. Let's make memories. Let's take pictures. Let's do all of the things together. And then there are other times where I do host events. Like, I hosted the Favor and Finances Conference, which that going forward is, this year it was for all women too, but it's going to continue to be for all women. Like, that's the one event attached to Single and Saved in the city that is not ever going to be just for single women, because the gems are too precious and too great to just have it for single women. So that's the one event where it will be a dynamic women's event for single women, married women, engaged women, women in relationship, whatever, like, all women. And for all intents and purposes, single, for the case of Single Saved to the City, means you're not engaged or married, because being in a relationship, dating, you're still single in the eyes of the law and God, so as long as you're not someone's fiance or wife, you can join Single and Saved in the City. You can be a part of the activities and stuff like that. So I just like to put that out there too, because sometimes people are confused. Like, do I have to be like single of the dollar bill single, or no? As long as you are legally single, you are not engaged, you are not married, you can be a part of Single and Saved in the City. So yeah, just wanted to say that. But sometimes I do host those events and experiences. And like I said, the conference, and then also I have the Kingdom Girls Getaway, which is, we're gonna have our first one next May. So that's gonna be an annual getaway trip. Just that one will be just for single women for now. Where we go to a destination and we just have a luxurious experience. And then we have the self-development piece. So that's where we have the courses, the the trainings, the workbooks, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of Single and Saved in the City in a nutshell. Like I said, I'll probably do a video breaking it down, introducing the organization, what's the vision for it. Because I always kind of just throw it in the beginning of my videos, but I never kind of break it down. So, that's why I always say check the description box. The goodies are there. But that's been my main focus this season of my life. And like I said, God has been moving, y'all. And it's becoming more and more clear to me that because I stand on those 3 pillars as a singles group, it gives me a competitive advantage. Business terminology. It gives me a competitive advantage because I just don't see any other groups doing what I do the way that I do it. And I love that for me. Like, I love that for me. And sometimes you don't realize why God puts a seed in you, because sometimes, and I'll be honest, when I got into Single and Saved in the City, God gave me this word back in 2020. And I was like, oh no, I'm not trying to do that. Because one thing about me is like, I'm in the cut. I'm chilling. I'm not one of those people that's like, I gotta be in the limelight. I gotta be the one in the center. I gotta be no, like, I'm cool in the cut. I just want to be prosperous. I don't want to be broke and busted and disgusted. I want to be able to have a legacy for my family. Like, as long as I'm financially secure, I'm healthy, I'm at peace, I'm good. Like, I don't really need everybody to know me. So I was looking for a group that I could be a part of, because one thing about me is I'm really good at like bridging community together. And I had to really realize that about myself too, because I used to kind of doubt myself at that. But I really have a gift of creating community, and where it really like feels natural, and it feels like I can let my hair down, and like, yeah, we love God and all of that. Like, we stand on that, but it's chill. Like, you could just be yourself. Like, like, you're gonna get the word, you're gonna get all that, but we kicking it too. Like, we're hanging out, we're having a good time. And so I used to help moderate and manage community groups when I was still back home in the DMV. I actually helped with a really big one back in 2017 into 2018. I forgot the name of it. I don't even think the group exists anymore, but it was pretty big. It like covered all of the DMV, I believe. At least DC and Maryland, I know that, but I feel like it covered. No, it was all of the DMV, because at this time I was in Virginia. Yeah, so it covered all of the DMV, and it was like, was it a singles group? I think it was a singles group, actually. Wow, I'm just now piecing this together. This is crazy. This is almost like that was prophetic, like God was preparing me for what, what I'm doing now. I just am realizing that was a singles group too. But that was co-ed though. That was a co-ed singles group. And I used to help moderate and manage that, and help, plan events and keep the group lively and all that. And I'm gonna toot my own horn. I was everybody's favorite moderator. Like, people used to be in my DMs and be like, yo, like, you make the group. Like, I come into this group for your posts, for your live streams, like, for you, like, you make it what it needs to be, because the rest just be like slacking. Now, it wasn't a faith-based singles group, but most of us kind of fell within the Christian faith, I would say, or at least saying like, okay, I believe in Jesus, but maybe lukewarm, in their faith. But most of us kind of lean in that direction, but it wasn't faith-based. That was a location-based singles group. And so yeah, like, it was just a good time. And so I can't remember why I stopped doing it. I honestly feel like there might have been some low-key drama going on. I know there was drama with me and someone else, but I feel like there might have been drama higher up above me, like with the creator of the group and other people or whatever. But either way, I was like, yeah, I got to step down. I know she wanted me to kind of like take on more than I was ready for at that time, because at this time Christian was still young. He wasn't even a year yet, or he was like from a couple months to about a year when I was doing it. So I was like, I'm really not trying to dive into the trenches. Like, I'm trying to get my mind wrapped around motherhood, this new life that I have, doing this by myself or whatever. But yeah, so that was really, really great. And it was a lot of fun. And, when God gave me the word in 2020, I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I just want to be a part of somebody else's group. I just want to support them. I just want to show up for the events or whatever. But I was not finding what I wanted to find, because every group, especially when it bridged singleness and Christianity together, it was centered around getting prepared for your husband, praying for your husband, fasting for your husband, preparing to be a wife, like, and those are important things. But I also wanted something where we were more so focused on our womanhood, on our holistic person, like, yes, I want to be married. Yes, I have to prepare to be a wife. Yes, but that's like, you can find those resources everywhere. And I'm not saying like, maybe if God put it on your heart to start that you shouldn't start it. If God put it on your heart to start it, he has a purpose for you to do that. Like, he has people that need to hear it from you, need to get it from you. But what I'm saying is, we don't have enough where it's like, okay, yeah, like, we have that desire for marriage and stuff, but we're still about creating those relationships. We're still about making those memories. We're still about walking in purpose. We're still about having fun in our singleness. Like, you don't have to wait until you get to a certain destination to say like, okay, yeah, like, now I'm finally satisfied. Like, you can be really satisfied in your singleness and still have hope that like you'll get married. That's the space I'm in. I love my single season. Like, God is doing so many things through me. And I was sharing this in the Encouraging Her community. I'm ministering in there for the next few Saturdays. And I'm like, I'm in a space where I love my singleness. Like, honestly, I love my singleness to a point where you got to really align for me to be in a relationship with you. Like, it's really got to make sense. And I'm seeking God on it. Like, I'm even like, God, are you sure? Like, like, is this is going to make the most sense? Does this honor you? Is this going to be, like, because I see how God is moving in my life. And I know that if I'm going to partner with someone, it has to make it even stronger. Like, we got to be propelling each other even further into destiny, even further into purpose. And that's not to say every day is going to be a bed of roses and just like, oh yeah, like this is perfect and this and that. But I need to see where it makes sense for us to come together and make hell nervous. I need to see where it makes sense for us to come together and make an impact and improve each other's lives too, and bring each other more joy and things like that. So yeah, but needless to say, this season of my life is giving what it needs to give. Giving what it needs to give. My voice is all cracking and stuff because God is showing up and showing out, through Single and Saved in the City. He's showing up and showing out in my podcast. We're already, if you don't know, like I said, I launched the For My Sisters Rondelle podcast in February. Check it out on all streaming platforms. And that's honestly what most of my channel content has been for the last few months. It's just been my podcast episodes. So you're more than welcome to watch them on here on YouTube because I do like the views and stuff, but it really makes an impact if you listen on a streaming platform. Even though YouTube is starting to kind of separate out podcasts in a way where they kind of are searchable on their own. So definitely still tap into the video podcast. It's going to get bigger and better. At some point I'm going to get like a nicer studio set up and, I plan to have guest interviews and all of that. So it's going to definitely get real lit. But for right now, it is what it is. It's like we make it do what it do. So definitely support on your streaming platform of choice. And when you see it on here, just give it a thumbs up. Even if you don't comment, just give it a thumbs up and passing, show the support, show the love. But he's really been speaking through that, and showing up in that way. So that's giving what it needs to give because we're streaming in the US, Canada, the Philippines, Kenya, and South Africa right now. And I just crossed over the 100 stream mark. So I've had 100 streams on my podcast, and on Spotify, I have 13 or 14 listeners, but I have a lot of listeners on Apple Podcasts. So God is showing up in that too. And I'm just happy because that's something else that God has been telling me to do for a minute. And a lot of you wanted me to do the podcast for about 2 years now, but it made sense to me to start it this year. I was like, I don't want to start and trying to build my YouTube to a certain level and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's that. And then just overall, like where my life is, y'all, the testimonies I'm gonna share at the end of this year during the New Year's live are going to blow your mind. Like this year started extremely rough for me. It was a lot of different stuff, just like stagnant, coming to a halt. But when I tell you I started Q2 with a bang, like literally on April 1st with a bang with major breakthroughs, I can't wait to share the testimony. And ever since then, it's like, it's just giving what it needs to give. Like God is showing up and showing out. And so I just want to encourage you that if you are in a season where you just feel like you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and, it's like, when am I ever going to see the light at the end of the tunnel? Like when that breakthrough starts to flow and you start to experience those blessings of God in that major way, it's just like the pain that you had to endure and everything, the waiting pales in comparison. You're like, wow, like this is amazing. Like God's blessings are just pouring out. And so I just want to encourage you with that because it feels nice to be in this season. Now, there are areas in my life where it is kind of like, okay, whatever, but I've come to peace with it. So like I was saying earlier, like with my singleness, like, am I dating? Am I getting out there, getting to know people? Of course, but I'm not in a space where it's like, oh my gosh, woe is me, this, that, the third. Like at the end of the day, I know God's about to blow my mind with that too. Like when that man for me is revealed or comes into my life, if he's not in my life yet, and things start to pan out in that way, it's going to be like, wow, like God, thank you. Like, I'm glad I waited. I'm glad that, I trusted you in this area or whatever. So that's all that I really wanted to say. I don't have any crazy updates, but I do want to let you know that I will be going back to going live more often. I'm going to start with twice a month. And, some months might be more frequent where it's like, hey, I have the time to pop in here. So I might pop in a little more frequently and share a word or something. But if nothing else, you can look forward to the monthly prayer live streams at the beginning of the month. I'll aim for the first Tuesday of the month. It might ebb and flow, but we're going to aim for the first Tuesday. And then I'll try to do something else in the month that is, educational, beneficial, whatever the case may be. But just make sure that you tap in and that you actually watch the videos too, not just because the live streams used to be very lit. And I know I'm more so known for my live streams, but, it just makes sense to do the podcast videos on the channel and kind of kill two birds with one stone. I am going to do a live podcast recording though. And that's why you need to join my newsletter too, because those people are going to know about it first so they can mark the day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a live stream like this, and I'm gonna have the people in the like you'll be in the comments, like just like a live stream, and you could join the conversation live, and then I'll put it up as a podcast episode. So it's kind of like you being a part of the podcast without having to come on camera. But if you do want to come on camera, I could do that as well, and I think that would be pretty fire. So definitely tap into the newsletter, check the description box down below, click the links, but just know you'll start to see me on live more often. You definitely want to join the newsletter. You definitely want to, apply for the sponsorship application if you are a business owner, ministry leader, anything like that. And, just tap into Single and Saved in the City. If you're a single woman or a single woman, refer her. Like, we lit, we doing a lot of great things. And I do have things coming up, like I said, that are not just for single women. The conference is one of them that will always be like that, but there'll be other things too, and even just with that, because some people be like, well, what are you going to do when you're not single anymore? Single and Safe in the City will always be there, but I will have a branch. Like, the organization will just grow, and I'll have a branch for women that are fiancés and wives, and there will be things we do together and things we do apart, and that's just how it would be, because I always want to have a safe space for single women to be poured into and to grow in that way, and for non-single women to have the same, but then when we could come together in fellowship. So, hopefully those updates helped you. Like I said, check out the sponsors in the description box below, show them love, give this video a thumbs up, share it, and I will see you guys later. And I'm just ready. I'm ready to be back on the live. I'm ready to, bond with y'all again. So just keep an eye out for Tuesdays. I think I'm pretty much planning to go live on Tuesdays, and then any other time, make sure you have the notifications on as well, because YouTube could be janky with that. But I'll see y'all later. Love you, dolls.